At 28, I did feel like I was too old, and you felt like that, and lots of
I
our
mean,
clients feel like that.
the funny thing about this is, so I felt like I was too old and too bold at 25, I guess. Because I think I came to you, we sat in, for context, I met Andy in a lovely shopping centre in Melbourne. And we had a coffee and a chat. And this is back when you wore a lot of beanies. Do you remember those big ass beanies? Yeah. Um, and we were talking, and I think I asked you, like, it was all about the dating stuff. Like, this is what the dating stuff that I want to do. Like, full on life coach first session. What do you want to achieve? What do you want to do? And dating was a huge part of it. And I was like, do you think I'm too old? And I also asked about the hairline. But I was like 25, and it's like, no. And your first reaction to that was like, no, obviously you're young enough to like do this at 25. Like, are you serious? And I didn't realize that that was like not it's not a stupid question, but I didn't realize how often you
There
get
are no
asked that.
stupid questions. Yeah.
Fair, but I didn't realize how often you get asked that by guys who are younger than you by several
Mm.
like by like up to like 10 years younger than you, and like
It's a funny thing, isn't it? Yeah.
yeah, like you started at 28. You didn't really start getting into your dating life seriously so you were 28. And
Mm.
we've got guys like Ed and Ravi as examples on the channel. You can go watch their interviews. Ed's interview is like one of the biggest viewed videos on this channel. Like, I'm assuming that if you watch this channel and you like watching Andy, you've probably watched the interview with Ed, okay? And Ed was 31, I think, when he started with you. Is that correct? Yeah, and he was a
31, a
virgin.
virgin,
Yeah.
severe erectile dysfunction,
Yes.
not scared of intimacy, but worried about it.
Yeah. So the fact that like go watch that, and you probably wouldn't. I assume you wouldn't come and ask Andy like, "Hey, I'm 23. Am I too old?" But we see these comments a lot. Like, we just see this comment a lot, and obviously you've put this at 28 because that's a more, I wouldn't say more reasonable, but that's like, if someone, I understand probably maybe more
I
why
understand too,
someone at
yeah.
28 is panicking. But I would ask guys who are like maybe 23, 24. I think it's because they're out of college and they're struggling to like maybe build bridges out of college with like social life and meeting girls. It is a conundrum when you leave college. Like, how do I meet girls now? Like, there is that first couple of years where you've been so used to being able to meet girls organically that you are now no longer really able to, outside of your workplace, organically meet girls. You have to go and find ways of doing it. You have to maybe go to the bar scene. You have to start cold approaching in the daytime. You have to start online dating. All of these things. So I get that, and maybe that's where it's coming from. But when we get a guy who's 28 and who's 30, who's what's the oldest? I don't know what the oldest you've experienced is. We've had guys in their mid 30s, I
The oldest
think.
that I've ever worked with is a 59-year-old guy. I've worked with a couple of guys in their 50s. We have a woman in
Yeah.
the coaching program right now who's in her 40s.
For someone who was a virgin.
Oldest virgin, 37.
Yeah, or inexperienced, or relatively inexperienced with women. Be like
Oh,
mid
then there's
30s
plenty of people in their 40s who are relatively inexperienced, maybe
that
like
you've
one
that
or
you've
two
dealt with.
sexual partners in their life. Yeah, yeah.
Yeah. That's the we get into a zone there where it's like there are like years of building, like they've got like years of hopelessness and years
You've
of
told yourself that it's hopeless, and the fact that you're in your late 30s or your 40s, you use that as evidence that it's hopeless.
but you've also had more
It becomes
time to
self-reinforcing.
tell the story. You've had more time to
Yeah,
repeatedly tell yourself the story, and repetition tends to inform like how you
that's what I'm saying.
think.
It's
Yeah.
self-reinforcing. Oh, there
Mm.
must be something wrong with me because I haven't had sex or much sex by this point, and so therefore I shouldn't go and talk to the opposite sex. Or I'll do it,
Yeah.
but I'm expecting rejection. And if you're
Yeah.
expecting failure, then you bring that on, obviously.
So if we look at Ed as the example, he's a coach in the group. He's a crazy fuckboy now, like unbelievable. Like, you'd have to get him back on the channel to talk about his last year, but like, yeah, it's mental. Um, when he joined at 31, his last experiences had been at college, if I remember the interview correctly. So he would have had a gap of like 10 years where he's telling himself, I'm a loser with women. My dick doesn't
Mm.
work. It'll never work. He had 10 years of that. So you can imagine why it's so much more difficult to deprogram is the wrong word, but you know what I mean. Like unpack
Let
those
go of.
stories. Let go of,
It's
yeah,
like
let
you
go.
have to let go of all of these stories, and that requires so much humility, man.
Yeah.
Like humility, being humble, is probably the biggest thing that we screen for in coaching clients. And absolutely, it's the biggest thing that we encourage in people in the coaching program is like let go of your preconceived notions. start to question some of your limiting beliefs, like they might be wrong. You might be wrong. You might say no woman would like me. You might actually be wrong about that. And for a lot of people, they're just not ready for that yet. There'll be a lot of you in the YouTube comments that, I mean, I've seen the comments that you're just not ready to admit that you might be wrong. And you'll come on here. We've talked about this quite a bit. It's very amusing to me because I used to be the same way. You'll come on here with the person who has done the thing that you want to do, like me. And then Cam is here and he's done the thing that you want to do. You know, if that's sex or something, he's done it. And then we have Ed and Taylor come on the channel. They've done it too. And then I have a playlist of like 40 coaching clients who all talk through their story about how they've done it. And then all of this mountain of evidence of people that have done the thing that you want to do. But you'll argue with them and you'll argue with us and you'll say, no, you guys are wrong. Here's why I know better. I know that I'm hopeless. I know that I can't change. And it's like, that's what literally every single other person said who then went on to change. So like, you're actually factually wrong. Like you're 100% incorrect, but you're not ready to even entertain that thought yet. You believe so firmly that your limiting beliefs are correct that you won't even be open to doing the things that might start to improve it. And so it's like, well, we can't help you. That's why we screen for humility. It's why the first thing that we screen for is, are you ready to change? Or are you just going to argue? And if you're going to argue, beautiful, like argue all you want. I'm not going to argue with you though. I'm going to look at your argument and go, hey, it sounds like you're in a bad place or in a painful place. Let me know if you want anything from me. And
Andy,
100 times out of 100, they don't want anything from you. They just want to reinforce. The ego wants to reinforce itself.
it is the arrogance of a low emotional state. And even guys that I see who are generally humble guys, generally good humility, the more low emotional state they get into, the more suddenly they start getting arrogant in a way that would be surprising if you knew them outside of it. You know what I mean? You talk about the arrogance of depression on this channel a lot. Like you've done
arrogance
like,
does go up.
Yeah, the lower your emotional state, because your brain gets into very defensive mode, and as your ego gets into defensive mode, so you increase. I'm not a psychologist. I'm not a psychotherapist. I haven't studied this stuff or anything, but like it's just observation. Like the more and more guys we've helped, and like I think as dating coaches, we see guys, or some, not with life coaches, but whatever. But like as people who have coached dating, you see guys in very cynical, low emotional states about it, and like it is. They basically, you and I are kind of praying that they get like good experiences early, because then that makes like, you know what I mean? Because like they just randomly get like good experiences early.
I like when they get humbled though. I like
humbling,
both.
but humbling does also come from getting good experiences because you recognize that you were wrong. Do you know what I mean? You can get humbled from success. Like, success can humble you too. Success and failure can both humble you. Yeah. Success can make you humble, and so can failure, like repeated failure. But there are times when repeated failure can put you more into a state of like, I know best. Because then also you have a self-fulfilling prophecy. I'm gonna say this to guys, basically. If you think you can't get laid, you are going to look for evidence that you can't. Even if you're just not going to give yourself a shot, because there'll be some level of self-fulfilling prophecy in your actions. That is the biggest problem with guys who are convinced they can't get laid, and guys who, if you tag yourself as an incel, if you tag yourself as a back pill, you have built a degree of ego around the idea that you can't get laid, and that is the biggest thing we have to overcome if we ever deal with these people. Which is why, to be frank, we're trying to screen a lot of these guys out until they're ready to actually like start working on it to some degree.
There's a really great quote by Henry Ford that says, "Whether you think you can or you think you can't, you're right." If you come to us or you come to, you just go through life thinking like, no, it's impossible for me. That's why we don't argue. When I see someone in the comments or just, you're going through a tough time and you think, man, I can't achieve this. I'm never going to fix this. I can't be happy. I'm not going to argue with you. What I do get you to focus on sometimes is I say like, hey, it sounds like you're in a place of pain. Like, I understand. What's one tiny little baby step that you can take right now? Like, what's one little bit of action you can take right now? What if you go take that right now and then come back and reply? And I'm basically getting them to let go of their thing. I'm saying, I'm not even going to argue with you because, like, you will win. Like, you won't win, but you'll in your head tell you that you won. Yeah. What a shallow victory that is. Wow, I convinced the guy who's trying to help me that I'm hopeless. Wow, I won. It's like, well, that sounds like a fucking victory, doesn't it? But I'm stepping around that whole thing and I'm saying, I'm almost distracting you with taking some action. It's like, hey, what if you go just do one little thing? And you go take that little bit of action, and then you go, wow, okay, I took some action. I could do something. What if I do it again tomorrow? And then I'm almost sidestepping the limiting belief and saying, just
Or the
start
ego.
now.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm almost going with the ego. I'm going, sure, your ego's correct. Great. Now go talk to a woman. Or that's going to be too scary for most people. So, fine, your ego's correct. It's hopeless for you. 100% agree. What if you just clean your apartment a little bit today?
Yeah. What was the I don't know whose quote it was, but like your ego would rather you be is it you your ego would rather you be right than a lot. It's like something like your ego would rather you die and be
Byron
right
Katie.
or something like that. Yeah, was that Byron Katie? Like your ego would
Byron
literally
Katie.
prefer that
And
you die than be proved wrong. Like there are actual cases of this happening when you like study
there's not
people.
just actual cases. This is the majority of people that fight in wars.
Yeah.
I would rather be right and die like a righteous death, a warrior's death. Like literally, I want to be right. My ego wants to be right so much that I don't want to be alive. I would rather die and go to my grave saying, yeah, I was correct. And people carry that out all the time. People will self-sabotage, cut off the nose to spite the face. People will literally fuck themselves over just so that they can take down, a perceived enemy. So they can get one over on their boss and get themselves fired in the process. But at least my boss didn't win. It's like, you just literally went down with the ship. It's kind of like that Buddhist saying, anger or revenge is like holding onto hot coals. You are the one that gets burned. It's like you fucked yourself. But, I understand the ego. Like you said, or like
Yeah,
Byron
that's why
Katie and David Hawkins says.
it's why we did the so sorry, get back to the point with the late virginity stuff and the inexperienced stuff. The reason we've made that ebook in part is so that look, there's a number of guys out there who aren't really ready for coaching, like aren't ready for the group. But I want them to have
Oh,
the
100%.
steps. I want them to have the reference material. So there's an ebook available for literally a fucking dollar, which I have all of the literally laid out. This is how I would do it. That this is how if you were
Yeah, here are the
inexperienced,
steps
this is
of
the steps
losing
of how
your
I would
virginity.
immediately go and get laid in the next 6 weeks. And like I'd rather, even if you're not going to listen to us and believe us, you can just grab the reference material and have it there, and you can just look at it and maybe try it one day. Like just maybe read it until you can convince yourself to start trying some of the steps. Because these are like the most simple steps. So like I could pass that to every guy that gets laid and they would agree with the steps. It's that level of simple. It's like that level of repeatable. It's like nothing too advanced, nothing that requires any like learning game, or it requires a little bit of improving your online profiles and maybe getting your looks in check a little bit. But it doesn't require, it's the simplest possible steps I could lay out that are repeatable by any human man. And like, it's one of those things where, yeah, we need to give something there to the guys who probably wouldn't get past the screening. Like, as in, if they go to call with you, you would probably not offer them a chance to be in the group because they're just not in the mental state to actually do our coaching. And if we have that reference material, it's fine because it means that we have given steps for guys to do something if they want to do something. And I don't
Yeah.
want anyone in the comments who's like, oh, this is me, like I can't do it, whatever, like that. I don't want them to have like the excuses of I can't
To feel
afford it or
alone
whatever.
or
Like,
left out.
yeah.
Yeah.
And they're just like general, like they're being excluded or whatever. Like they still have like access to something that would give them the steps that they can take and get some success.
Yeah.
So that's
It's
like
why I care
that's
so much about baby steps. Because
yeah,
I went through depression. I was suicidal for like 8 or 9 years. I know what it feels like to be completely alone and to be completely convinced that you can't change, that it's hopeless. And I know you went through that shit in high school and college. When all your friends were like, hey, we don't want to be your fucking
that was
friend.
college. That was college. Yeah.
Yeah. And so you know what it feels like to be completely alone and left out and be like, all right, I guess I can just be fucking forgotten then. And I'm a piece of shit that no one cares about. Great. Like, we both know exactly what that feels like. And that's why I focus on giving yourself permission to suck in baby steps. It's like, yeah, like you said, a lot of people are not going to ever come to the coaching. That's 99.999% of this audience are never going to hit me up for a coaching call, no matter how cheap I make it, no matter how much motivation I do to push you towards that. But that's a big part of the reason why I did it before I even had coaching on offer. I focused on baby steps because I know what it feels like to not think that you can do anything, but be able to take one little baby step. When I was depressed and suicidal and my life fell apart, literally just, okay, today I'm just going to wash the fucking dishes. because that's all I can do. And I'm crying into the sink, literally just crying for like 6 hours straight. This is all I can do today. I did the dishes. Okay. Tomorrow I'll do the dishes, and then I'll also fucking dry the dishes, and then slowly build up from there. So yeah, no matter how old you are or how far past your supposed use by date that you think you might be, it's never too late. And to bring it back to the original topic, dude, there are people who are like fucking 70 years old discovering their sex life for the first time, or working on goals, or like 50-year-olds right now going back to university to teach themselves some new skills after the kids have grown up and left home and all of that. There is no like too old. You're too old the moment you're on your deathbed, breathing your very last breath. I had this realization on an LSD trip many, many, many years ago, like when I was like 27, 28, probably 28, where I was like, holy fuck, literally until my last breath, I am still capable of action. And I never know when that last breath is going to come. And I won't know it until like it's already too late, because I'll be taking that breath thinking, no one thinks this is my last breath. You think there's one more breath coming after it. So therefore, there will never be a moment in my life where I actually am incapable of taking action until the moment I'm fucking dead. And so there is no like, it's too late for me. It's like, no, you have a breath in your body. Shut the fuck up and take some action. And if action is really hard for you, take a baby step. If that baby step is too hard, divide it in half and do half that baby step. If that's still too hard, keep dividing by half until you get to a step where you can actually do something. And we get tons of the coaching clients to do this as well. Like there's, a guy in there that I'm basically saying to him, look, like if you could only do one push-up a day, then do one fucking push-up a day. If you can only work on your business for like 5 minutes, then work on it for 5 minutes. Stop putting all this pressure on yourself to do big, amazing, great things. Sit in front of your laptop for 5 minutes and work on your business. And then congratulations, you've done something.
And then ramp.
You and I do this all the time.
Yeah, and then ramp.
And then slowly just,
It's so easy. Not so easy. That's the wrong phrasing. It's simple. It's simple. That's what I was looking for. Easy
I
to
will
follow.
say it is simple. I would say it is easy. People overcomplicate it. Ready? Success is fucking easy. Success is simple. And that's probably going to, slightly frustrate a few people when I say success is easy. It's fucking easy.
Yeah.
Do the smallest possible step that you possibly can take with no force or willpower, and then just repeat that. That's it.
It's repetitive correct action. That's all it is.
Yeah. And
you
make
learn,
that
you
action,
learn correct. You
make
learn
that
correct
action easy.
Yeah. But you learn correct action over time because you don't have any data to know what correct action is. So you can't figure out what the correct action is without doing things, and then you eventually figure out. Yeah. That's why Andy knows which videos he's going to put out that will get views. I know on my other channel, my secret channel that I don't talk about, I know exactly how to get views now. But I only know that because we put videos out twice a week for 4 years. That's why we know. Do you know what I mean?
I put videos out every single day for 4 years, yeah.
All right, this isn't really a dick swinging contest, Andy. I'm just trying to explain a concept to the audience. But you know what I mean?
I love how, bro, that's really not okay. In 2024, you can't be assuming that motherfuckers have penises.
This is true.
Like, you just assumed my gender, dude. I have a beautiful vagina, okay? I have a boy vagina. I have a bussy, a beautiful bussy, okay?
Is it a 7-inch boy vagina?
Yeah.
Reverse vagina.
Enough about my bussy.
The point I was trying to make is it's a whole there's so many fucking cliches. Journey of 1,000 miles starts with a step. Plant the fucking tree today or 10,000 years ago, whatever. It's up to you. You know what I mean? But start fucking today. The guy who's like 28 wants to get laid. Your goal now is to take pictures for your profile. That's the first fucking thing you can do. Is figure out what your profile is. The other thing you can do is go outside with the intention of talking to girls, even if you don't manage
and wave at a woman. Be like,
wave at a woman, yeah.
Wave at her, and then run away because you're scared. But that was all you could do today. Congratulations, you waved at a woman.
In 100 days, you'll
wave at another one.
In 100 days' time, you'll be able to go up to a girl and lick her face, which is the correct approach to actually talking to women. Is you have to go up to them and lick their faces, like a dog.
Are we just going to leave that in there? No disclaimer? We're not going to say, like, that was a joke?
Don't do that.
There's some guy out there who'll go licking women's face, and it's like, police say that a bald man named Cameron, I'm not going to say your last name, recommended that this guy go up and lick women's faces, and that was his defense.
Yeah. Dogs can do it, men can do it. You know what I mean? if some little chihuahua rat thing can
To
go and
be
lick a
fair
girl's
though, a
face.
dog is going to be licking the back of your hand or like, your leg or your foot. So
No, mate.
what we're saying is
The
don't.
chihuahua shits. They fucking go straight for your nose, man. Maybe
Okay,
that's the
so lick
thing.
a woman's nose is what you're saying to hit on her.
Wiggle.
Do you ask consent first? Actually, to be fair, if you ask a woman, lick as many noses as you want, just be like, hey, you're really cute. Can I lick your nose, please? And
Yeah, I
when you
think
get a yes, which then you go for
in
it.
1,000 chicks, you'll get one yes to like licking their
Cause
face.
bro, you get way more
Yeah,
than that.
yeah, but not making out. Like literally, can I just lick your face? It has to be
Yeah,
like
can I
said with
lick your
complete like
cheeks? Can I
yeah,
lick your
yeah.
cheek like a dog?
Can I just lick your nose like I'm a
Like a
dog?
dog would. Just say like a dog would. And then
Someone go and
you'll
approach
get some women
like
saying why.
someone specifically. I'm going to specifically challenge someone. Someone go and do this, asking for consent to lick a girl and see how many
With
girls
full
you have to
consent,
ask.
okay? For
With full
fuck's sake,
consent,
like full
with
fucking
full
consent. Yeah.
verbal consent, you have to ask girls, "Can I lick your face?" And wait until you'll probably get one very early on who thinks it's a prank, and like she'll just be like, "Yeah,
Yeah,
sure,
and
fucking
she'll
go
say
for it."
like, okay, and then you do
Okay,
it and
where's
you're
the
like,
camera?
thanks.
There's no
Yeah.
camera. What are you talking
Yeah.
about?
Yeah.
I
All
just
the
want to lick.
weird stuff that I did during the approach anxiety program that I did. You were doing really weird stuff in that. And yeah, plenty of women will go. More people than you think are open to weird social experiments, especially if you ask first.
The weird thing
And
about
they
the
will
JLR
just assume it's
program
a camera.
was like the random outdated references that Chris put in there. Like, do you know what I
Yeah.
mean? Imagine asking
Justin
someone
Bieber.
Justin Bieber haircut now. Imagine asking that now in 20 fucking 24. But like even
Plus,
then,
also, Justin Bieber's kind of fucking cool and has been
yeah,
for the last couple of years. He's cool as fuck. So it's like, it's not funny anymore.
not sure you're the
Bro,
arbiter of what's
dude's
cool,
like, little
Andrew.
man's like covered in tattoos. Little man has like big muscles. Like, Justin Bieber's cool as fuck.
Nah, nah, I'm not, no,
You're not going to tell me
no.
that's the same little nerd who was like, baby, baby. Justin Bieber's a completely
He
different.
was
He's a married
arguably
man now.
cooler. He was arguably cooler when he was doing that than the
No,
weirdo that
I
he
got a
is
man
now.
crush on Bieber. You leave my man alone, all right?
I can send you guys who are cool if you want. I feel like I am the arbiter
Oh,
of
I
who's cool
bet,
and
I
not
bet you got a folder full of like fucking cool hot men,
just
don't you?
hot dudes.
I bet.
Yeah. You know, as a fashion consultant, I actually fucking do. That's what's sad about it.
No, I know. It's the same as like bodybuilders. It's like you check their internet history or you check their computer and there's just like hot man body, hot chest, big man pecs, big sexy man legs. And you're just like, all right, we got a man crush now? But it's research. It's research.
Is this conversation helping anyone get laid at 28? That's the question we're going to have to ask
Yeah, so
ourselves.
in summary, if you're a man who feels like it's too late for him, I guess anyone that feels like it's too late for their goals, the answer is to Google like naked hot man, and that will motivate you. Do it in an incognito browser. I mean, fuck it. Show that it's 2024. Show it off. Do it on a work computer. Do it at work. And then if they say you're going to get fired, you'd be like, that's really fucking homophobic, dude. I would not have said that. Boom. Immediately they have to promote you for being woke. And that is how you can have sex at 28.
I'm not adding anything to this conversation. I'm just going to sit here and let you go for it.
Beautiful. Amazing. If you've been wanting an amazing, awesome, elite sex life, tons of threesomes, plenty of wild adventures, and great memories with awesome people, we would love to help you get there. Here's just a little bit of what our coaching clients have achieved in their time in the program. Renee had a threesome in just his second week of coaching, had a woman write him a love letter, and he went on to have sex with 12 women in just 12 weeks of coaching. Corky had his first threesome, slept with 7 amazing women, and made a ton of awesome memories with them. George and Power both had sex with 10 women each in their 12 weeks, had a bunch of wild adventures along the way. Join me and join them by clicking the coaching link in the description below.